Hey there, this is Steve from View Yonder. Now, we've got this basic Flask app, okay? All it does is in this app is show two buttons. Push things onto a queue, pull things off a queue, right? Nothing complicated. You can see the API calls here. Super. Push, push, pull, pull. You can see it's a first in, first out. Love it. Now, what if we wanted something outside of this interface to update this list? So what if we updated this list on the back end? Let's say doing a curl command, right? A curl command to add another item in. How would we push that back to the back end? Well, I just want to go through this and show you what it's like to ask an LLM. Now, I'm using the Claude Sonnet LLM as part of the Z desktop IDE. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a context here. I'm going to say I want to put this file in, which is going to be app.py, right? I'm going to try my best to prompt this without going too bonus on it. I want to be able to call API push from other places than the HTML. Let's say a curl command to add an item. When I add an item, I want the HTML page to update with a new item. Thank you for commenting on that. I know this is an SSE thing. How do we do it? Making changes to the HTML and to app.py. Trying to be a little bit more specific, right? See what it says. I'll help you modify the code, server-side events. Now here's a great example, right? Let's say I'd never heard of these before. And I know, of course, I mentioned it because you need to mention what you know as much as you know as possible, right? It may have come up with that. I don't know. In the past, I've seen these LLMs come up with React, JavaScript, all kinds of bullshit, right? But I want to use SSE, which is why I mentioned it. SSE is sending events back to the HTML, and you have to avoid all that crap with React. So, what's changed? Let's have a look. Right, let's get these two things side by side. What's going on? Could do a diff, but I'm just going to have a quick look like this, right? Well, going to do a bit of JSON. And we've added request as well. And response and request. Okay. Now that's probably because we've got the API stuff. Anyway, item count. Right, generate SSE. Here's the first thing, right? So this looks like something that's always running. Get the current items and send them as SSE. So get the current items, which is this queue here, and then yield them. Yeah, that's about right. As JSON. So we know that the front end's going to be changed here. Have a little sleep. Right, so that's a completely new thing in here. Right, so then we get to the default routes. Same. Look at this stream. This is a new one. An app route stream. It's calling the generate SSE that we saw before. MIME type text event stream. Gonna have to learn a little bit more about that. That's a new thing for me again, which is what the whole bloody point of this thing is. Same. Oh no, yeah, it's same, just a different. Oh, look, this looks different, doesn't it? When you get items, but when you push something, what happens now? So before you would push something, you update the item count, right? But now it's saying, where does the request come from? If it's JSON, Oh, there's going to be something else interesting down here. If it's Jason, then it's going to pull the item out of there. Yeah, not so sure about that. Pulling that out of a request. Anyway, we'll get back to that. It's not a huge issue, but it's something to be wary of. Otherwise, do the same as we did before, which is this bit here, right? And then it's the same. Just add the item, render the template, da 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 da. What about when you pull something off the queue? When you pull something off the queue, delete, pull item, pop left, return list items. Alright, something feels like it's missing in this for me. Anyway, then we get to the HTML, which is in this file here, right? So HTML, yeah, ignore all that crap. Get the body. You see, like immediately it starts frigging around with all the. See, this is the thing that drives people mad. And it's totally understandable behavior. I'm not complaining about the LLM. This is normal behavior. But if you don't expect this, it's going to drive you insane, right? So, anyway, let's work this out. So, before we had all this stuff, right? Now we've got this, this different markup. Fucking hell. We've got a button to push, which is what we had before. The target is items. See, that's different. You see how that's different? It's little things like this. Now, that's probably changed further, right? It's got us items here instead of item list. Now, that might seem like nothing and being trivial, but that's the kind of boring shit that can screw you up. And now, if you're going through using diffs and stuff, totally fine, right? Yeah, I get you. But not everyone's as awesome as you, right? Add item. So, when you add an item, you do the push. When you delete one, the pull. And it's saying the target is items, which is here, which would get the same item list. Item list, API items, trigger load. So that looks pretty. Oh, here we go. Here's some extra stuff here. See, this is what does my head in. Right. So this is the extra stuff. So now we're watching the stream on the back end, right? If you go back up here, where is it? Oh, it's not in here, it's in this, isn't it? Because I haven't updated my code because I'm not crazy. Yeah, right. So we've now got some JavaScript doing this. See, now this is where my knowledge, this is why I'm doing this exercise, because I don't know if this is what it should be. I just thought HTMX handles all of this and we don't write JavaScript to do this stuff on the front end. So anyway, I'm going to pause here because now I've got something to work out. But this is a great example of how I think LLMs are really helpful to move you forward one or two steps. But you got to be super cautious and don't take anything for granted. This is not a bloody shortcut. It's like just working with a friend. They make mistakes, you make mistakes. People, you've just got to double check it. In the end, when you work together really well, that's when you learn shitloads of stuff. So I have to admit, every time I work with an LLM, I learn stuff every single time. But you don't just, like I see on social media, you type in a prompt and it builds a massive app. What a load of crap. Even something as simple as this is not as simple. So never mind a proper, how many lines of code with how many developers. Don't make me laugh. So I think there's a couple of things I wanted to say there. Was one, it's really helpful learning new things, trying new things out. It does really good things. It reminds you of what's in different packages and how to do them, and inline assists when it fills in the sentences for you. Yes, absolutely great. But if you lean on it too hard, you are going to fall over and get hurt. That's all I would say. All right, so that's Steve. Another video on this Flask HTMX SSE thing, trying to build this factory system. I'll leave you to it. Cheers, guys.